I'd like to call to order the March 13th meeting of the Commission of the Ventnor City Commission. If I could all raise for a flag salute, please. Pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Lisa, will you take roll call, please?
Commissioner Landgraf,
Here.
Commissioner Mento,
Here.
Mayor Kribel.
Here. Lisa, will you read the open public meeting announcement, please?
Pursuant to the Open Public Meetings Act, adequate notice of this meeting has been provided. The agenda for this meeting is posted in the City Hall and on Ventnor City's website.
Thank you. Will you leave the live streaming announcement, please?
The City of Ventnor offers live streaming and the option of public comment via remote access as a convenience to the public. In the event remote access is unavailable for any reason beyond the city's control, the city will not pause or stop the live meeting. The city reserves the right to discontinue remote access at the discretion of the city for any future meetings.
Thank you, Lisa. This evening, we have two resolutions. First resolution 2025-04 is resolution regarding the authorization of the municipal budget, read only by title, 2025. We have Leon here for adding some local color for that and some description, if you would. And the second resolution 05 is the introduction of the municipal budget. So would you like to?
Sure.
A few minutes?
So tonight is officially the introduction of your budget, which means that it now is up for public comment on April 10th. Once it gets advertised and if you vote to introduce it, your state self-exam, so the state won't even look at this one. If you've been following along, almost every town has an increase and rather decent size increases, like 2, 3, 4 cents across the board. This is a period of time when everything is going up. I don't care what you look at, it's going up. Insurance goes up a lot, electric's going up a lot. You pay your employees more every single year. And I know that from doing this for my 51st year, that what you spend in 25, you're going to spend more in 26. It's just the way it's going to be. You provide all the services that aren't profitable, or some private company would be doing it, make money on it. So your ratables are increasing at a decent amount. It has been now for the past several years since the reval. We're legal. We're well within both. We could spend another $670,000 if we wanted to. We could raise another $420,000 in taxes if we wanted to.
Stay within the limits.
We stay within the limits, right? Every 221,000 is a penny. So, we could actually add 2 more cents to this if we wanted to. That's not our intention. Your debt position is pretty good. The comparison from last year to this year, salaries are up 4.2%, which is really not a lot considering how your salary structure works with the police and fire steps. There is no 3.5%, 3% on those contracts. You may go from 52,000 to 61,000 because of the steps and the percent increase. So all in all, it's not a bad number. Your tax increase is 3.19 right now. That's what was set for introduction. Your percentage of collection is still good. Fund balance, we had a loss in fund balance, but we should recover it. We're not doing any damage to it. We're using more fund balance actually we did last year, but we will recover most of that money. Hopefully, it looks like we'll get it back.
The amount is?
The amount, a decrease was 1,196,000. But we can see where that will come back. We should be back in solid shape again next year. It's not bad where we are, but it's not an increase.
It's actually sitting out there in receivables for grants that haven't been, where we haven't received the reimbursable yet.
Right.
So that affects the fund balance picture. So we know that what you're seeing in the annual financial statement, that what the fund balance is, really is more than that when we get those receivables in.
That's the mechanics of the grants that we have to fund them ourselves and then reimbursed.
Can you repeat the amount of increase we are using in fund balance?
550,000.
I thought you said 1,000,001. So
No, million was what we lost.
That's the amount.
Decrease, yeah. Yep.
So, and you said the aggregate increase in salaries is 4.1%. That's across, that's the total line item.
Total
includes
line of
every,
everywhere. Yeah.
there's variation from one.
Yeah, it would include
service to
retirements,
another.
new hires, et cetera, the whole works.
That includes the pensions.
No,
No.
pensions another number all by itself. Yeah.
Okay.
And, that's a sizable number. Health insurance.
The police and fire pension system, the increase is $313,000.
Right.
Public employees, that's everybody else, is actually a slight decrease of, I think, about 14,000.
And health insurance is up 270,000.
Correct.
And utility costs are up another 100,000. So
Yeah, you just hit really on all the major increases: police and fire salaries, police pension, health insurance, utility costs.
mhm. Okay. I mean, we've sat in on some of these, but if there's, and this is our, authorization to read the title only, and then the introduction for more public comment in April.
April 10th,
10th.
Yeah. Yep.
Which,
which I'll be back for sure.
and Commissioner Langgraf, do you have any more?
No. I mean, everything costs, it's hard to go with last year we were at 7. So we're less than that this year, which
Yeah.
is good.
Yep.
Appreciative of that, but it's still, I hate raising the tax.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah. No,
but not that folks didn't work hard to get this where it is. I heard higher numbers before, so I think we did peel back some things. I know, Leon, you never want us to use that surplus, and using quite a bit of it, but it's something I think we need to do to make it reasonable. There was one of the sheets I was looking at today showed, based on a certain household, this is what that household would pay if your home is worth this. And that made me a little more comfortable because it's not a huge, number for the majority of our
Right.
residents. So,
mhm.
yeah, it's for the average home, it's a couple $100 a year. Right. So. Right. And the other thing to keep in mind is that we don't have a lot of sources of revenue besides property taxes. We're heavily reliant on those. Our beach fees are very modest compared to other municipalities. Our parking revenues are very modest compared to other towns. You look at places like Cape May and Ocean City and Wildwood, big numbers for those things, for beach tags and for not Wildwood, not beach tags, but parking certainly. So, just to touch on, you mentioned beach fees. There's a push around the state to eliminate those. We got a resolution, I think, not sure who it came in from. I want to get that on our agenda.
Yeah,
opposing
that will be on the agenda, if not tonight, at the next meeting to oppose that legislation.
Mhm.
And as I understand it, it wouldn't actually eliminate beach tags, but it would just create some additional chaos that would say that people that are heading to the high tide line and the hard sand, which is technically claimed by the state of New Jersey, anything below the high tide line, that you could not require a beach tag just to cross the beach to get to the water. I don't think that's going anywhere, but that's
Okay.
the proposal.
Mhm.
Yeah, I read it the same, and that's always been the myth that if your feet were wet,
Right.
you didn't need a beach badge. And you'd see people with the beach badge checkers coming down the beach and we get up and walk in the water. Put our beach checkers on surfboards.
I would just
Thanks.
agree with your comments. I think that I'll kick it to Commissioner Mento, that we're starting this conversation with those line items, the pension increase of 300,000, the health increase of 270,000, the salary increase of 500,000. These are things that are that have to be allowed for. And I think things like beach tags are something that we're not going to balance the budget on it, but we have to keep them in step with the other increases in the world, in the rest of our budget, so that we have some things to mitigate them. So I think we got to look at that and all our fees to make sure that we're, as many as we can, are user based, not resident based.
Yes, I know nobody wants a rate increase, including us who live here and pay taxes. But we are faced with some big numbers here that we have limited control over, such as the huge increase for the police and fire pension, the health benefits. Those come down from the state. We have no control over that. And those two alone combined are about $600,000. No, actually, it's more than that. We have police and fire is what, $313,000? Yeah, and then health insurance, about $600,000. I know, Tom, you looked at health insurance this year and last year, and we had some people that were sick. We have no control over that, some serious illnesses. So we did not get any interest for another health benefits plan, but we're working towards that. And we're hoping next year, maybe, we'll have some interest out there that will give us a proposal that maybe we can save some money. But right now, we're in the state and we have to pay that huge increase. Thankful for the development and how the city is looked at now in a positive nature because of the ratables that we've seen this year, have mitigated this increase almost to half of what it is, if I recall when we were talking. So, I think we're doing everything right. We talked about the increase to police and fire. Had we not negotiated those contracts the way we did 8 years ago, that number would be
That's
maybe
right.
3 times what we're looking at now. And, we all say the same thing. We have the best police and fire department out there. And I quite frankly wouldn't live anywhere else without having one like this, which I never really appreciated until I had this job that I want a paid fire department and paid EMTs that work for the city, coming for me if I need them. So, thank you, Leon, and, for everything you did to get this number down as low as possible. And the use of fund balance also with an increase of, what did you say, $500,000? Yeah, increase of 500 for fund balance this year compared to last year. Okay, I'm good.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So if you're ready, you need a motion to introduce the budget and then take a roll call vote on it.
Should
We
we,
need to do the first resolution.
We'll do the first one first.
we'll do that in the meeting, not the workshop, right?
The resolution to be by title.
Yeah, we'll do that. We'll do that after the workshop, right?
Yeah, we don't need to do 104. We'll do 104 at the public hearing,
Okay.
right? You're telling us that resolution 104 doesn't need to be passed tonight, which is the title only, yeah.
Okay.
The reading by title only is when you open up to the public for the adoption, the public hearing night.
If maybe for that next meeting, we can have the actual number that the ratables affect, what the positive effect the ratables have had on it, on the annual, I guess on the annual basis.
Yeah, actually, you can see that on it's sheet 3 levy cap. The ratables increase
I thought I saw that.
3 sheet levy cap on the far right-hand column, 3/4 of the way down the page.
Which page? 3.
Sheet 3 dash levy cap.
Got it.
Sheet 3, sheet 3A, 3B, 3B2, and then the next one.
Levy cap, there it is.
So the impact of when you get to that page, let me know.
We're here.
Okay,
Three,
so
3B?
3
Keep going.
dash levy cap.
Oh. 3 dash levy cap. Got it.
So the levy cap law says that whatever your new construction was times your rate only, not the county, not the school, is how much it gives you that you can add on. So you really generated $506,000 from the levy, the increase in ratables.
506.
Yeah.
And the annual basis. So
You see the calculation of 40 million
40 million,
times the 1.245, that's the rate.
right?
It gives you the 506,000.
Got it. Credit. That's the type of percentage I think I knew in my head, but it's nice to see those actual numbers to
Mhm.
get a feel for how much it takes in actual construction to get $500,000.
So what that says is if you add $40 million in new ratables, you can spend another 500 and whatever that number was, dollars, and you'd be even.
Right. Okay. Great, great. Thanks, you, Leon.
Yep.
So we'll move on through the workshop if that's okay with
We're
the,
gonna, if you guys wish, we're gonna introduce the budget, so we're gonna vote on that 105. So if we want, what I'll do is I'll read the title, and when I'm
Okay.
done, you can call for a motion.
Okay.
Second, you guys can. The municipal budget of the city of Ventnor City, County of Atlantic for the fiscal year of 2025. Be it resolved that the following statements of revenues on appropriations shall constitute the municipal budget for the year 2025. Be it further resolved, said budget will be published in the press of Atlantic City in the issue of March 25th, 2025. The governing body of the city of Ventnor City does hereby approve the following budget for the year 2025. Notice is hereby given that the budget for the tax resolution is approved by the commissioners of the city, and we will hold the public hearing for the tax resolution on April 10th, 2025 at the municipal building at 5:30.
thank you, Lisa. We have a roll call.
We need a
I need a
motion?
motion for
Introduce.
introducing the resolution 105.
We'll make a motion to introduce resolution 2025-105.
Second. Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento? Yes. Mayor Kribel?
Yes.
Okay, so now you introduce the budget and we'll have a public hearing on April 10th. In between now and then, you can discuss anything you want about the budget, but we can't make any change to it until April 10th.
Okay.
Because the amendment would say the public hearing has been held and it's desired to make some amendments if you decide to make any changes. So you can talk about it if need be, but we don't do anything official till April 10th.
Understood.
All right.
And if I may, I'd like to just take a moment to recognize the effort that Amy puts into putting this budget together. So, you know, the nuts and bolts, all the different spreadsheets and salary information spreadsheets and stipends and all that stuff. That's all her work product that she pulls all that together. And that's the beginning part of putting this budget together.
Right.
So it's a lot of work and she does a great job with it.
Absolutely.
Thank you. Amy.
Thank you
Much
all for the work.
appreciated.
Department heads as well.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. It's
So I'll see you in 4 weeks.
great.
Good night, Leon. Good seeing you again.
I didn't know. We have no presentations this evening. We have no department head reports, correct?
Not tonight, but what I will say is Rick, would you be ready for our, we're doing April 10th when we're going to do the budget? Or is that probably a bad night? You're not here the end of the month, right? You're away.
I am here. I'm not here on the 14th, from the 14th to the 20th. So I'm missing the second meeting in April.
That's what I mean. So
Yeah.
you want to push it to May?
Yeah, if there's no emergency. I'd
No,
like to
right.
hear-
We just want to
I'd like
start
to-
doing the department head
Yeah.
reports again. So
Yeah, is that okay?
go to May you would be the first department head to start us off in May.
Right.
Right. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I think just one.
Let's see how they go.
I'm just thinking you could have the chiefs standing by and ready to go also.
True. We might do that. That's pretty simple. Because we do want to do that. Yes.
Okay. Good
We'll
one.
we'll let the other ones know.
May is right there. We're starting to get into the thick of the season. What's that? That's right before summer. No capital discussion. I think we talked about
Yeah.
that. And the following items are scheduled for action. In the commission portion, we have no minutes this meeting. We have an ordinance introduction, which is the 20003, which is claims for payment. So we're increasing the number, the limit for purchase orders. At
Yeah,
this,
we're really just making adjustments to bring it in line with what the state purchasing laws allow us to do. So it just raises the threshold and matches it to what the state thresholds permit. So currently, anything over $3,000 requires two of you to sign before the purchase order can be issued. This would raise that threshold to 6,000. So it just streamlines things a little bit for us. You guys, don't maintain full-time hours here and
Sometimes things need to be purchased more quickly than we can track you down.
Understood.
Ernie, can we get those VFDs for less than $6,000 so we don't have to order it?
Yeah,
I swear I'm going to start a company making those darn things.
he does. I know. I don't think his calculator goes that low.
Yeah. No.
At the same
Nice.
time, we're amending the form to include department head.
Correct.
Yep.
The first step should start with the department head.
Yeah, thank you.
The request for anything over $6,000 up to the bid threshold of 44,000 would still require two of your signatures, and one of those should be the department that the purchase relates to.
I think that's where they always start. At least mine always did. They always came to me if they come out of Public Works.
Right.
Tim usually got them if they were public safety and
Yeah, I think sometimes when it's urgent, it's the first two people you can get. But
then that's going to
let
happen.
the department head sign off on it, because then you, at least you know they know.
Right. I agree.
You mean not us as a department
Yeah.
head? You mean those department heads?
Right.
Okay, gotcha.
We weren't
Understood.
getting-
Now I got you.
Now that I'm signing them, it's like I'm realizing it was,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
that it was
It's a big
something I need.
expenditure.
Yeah,
And you need the background.
yeah, I didn't think of that before when I was in his seat, but
No,
didn't now when I'm
I
signing.
get it. A lot of times I'm shocked at the software subscription pricing that we have to
A
go
lot of
through.
it is software, yeah.
You know, a lot of it, and those
A lot of what
numbers
we
are always
sign is
higher than you
IT.
anticipate. Any other comments on that ordinance?
Nope.
I think it's good,
Yeah.
to keep things moving. We have another ordinance introduction. I saw this back and forth of fees. Looks like we were bringing this up to, more, similar to other towns, dumpsters and portable storage units.
Really more, the pods. If you see those,
Okay.
the white units, we were only allowing them for 48 hours. And some folks are doing home renovations that take a month, couple. We're going to treat them more like dumpsters where you have a 30-day, you can get an extension. And then we did work the fees into what other towns are doing for those.
Hmm.
So more of a convenience thing. Again, they got to be on property, just like dumpsters do in the summertime. I think that we do allow them on the street in off season.
Thank you. We have no ordinance, hearings and adoptions. We do have a handful of resolutions. We have, first resolution 106, is enforcement of no parking, from April 1st to June 30th. These are, things we do every year. Second is, our drug council on alcoholism and drug abuse. This is, Kathy McFadden's been doing that for years, does a great job. Having certain events at the art center and that support the those efforts. And then we have 108. This is a fleet maintenance
Yes.
management. Do you have a?
Yeah, I do. Little blurb here. Thanks, Rick, for the notes on it tonight. So this is Samsara Fleet Maintenance. This is going to add not only cameras, but GPS tracking of our public works vehicles. Provides closed caption TV footage forward and into the cab for triggering events such as accidents, hard braking. So if something happens, the camera kicks on. Driver can activate it himself if he's looking to record certain conditions, emergencies or things of that nature. Also tracks the maintenance needs of oil change, things like that, brake fluid on the vehicle. And we can review complaints as well. Someone can, hey, your truck just did this. Well, we have camera video of that and it did or didn't do that.
Great. And this will be on the, all of our, on the entire public works fleet.
Yep, starting there, we're going to do them incrementally. It also does, we can do a geofence where it alerts if a vehicle goes out of the city or certain areas or stolen. System permits valuable equipment to be located and track generators, put like that. We can put tags on other stuff that are not drivable. But if they're gone, we can track them.
Snow blowers,
Yeah,
things like that.
yeah, exactly. So,
Okay. Great, thank you.
yep, we've been trying to get them. These guys came in and showed us. I think we saw them at the League of Municipalities and tied up with them and brought them in. And we looked at a couple other ones. This seemed to be the best one.
Sounds great. Sounds like it's a kind of technology that can be useful when you need it. Resolution 109 is waiver of fees for the Dean Randazzo Cancer Foundation event. That's a 3-year license. That's something that we've always supported. So that's a continuation of that.
The difference is it's 3 years.
Instead of one. Yep.
But nothing else is different. Pretty much the same waiving of fees.
Great. Appreciate what he does. Resolution 110 is authorizing closing of the boat ramp and no parking for Friday the 6th and Sunday the 8th in June for a Paddle for a Cause fundraiser. I believe
That's the Randazzo.
Randazzo.
Yep.
And resolution 111 is renewal of interlock services between Atlantic County and Improvement Authority and Ventnor participating in the lead-based paint inspection for rented dwelling unit programs. Do you have anything?
It's a continuation.
Yeah,
The
it's just an
county provides,
extension.
yeah, just an extension of it. We offer the owners of these units that they rent out the ability to go to the county and use their lead-based inspectors to check the properties out. We don't force them. I had a resident call. He was a little agitated. I made sure that it's an option.
Right.
We think it's a better option.
Yeah.
But certainly if you own a property, you can have your own inspector go in and do it, but it's got to meet the state requirements. Make sure there's no lead that can damage young children and their health. So good program that we do with the county.
And resolution 112 is replacement of public works generator, not to exceed 316,000.
We need a new generator over there. So
Yep.
it's time to replace it.
Okay. And resolution 113 is preparing specifications to handle the bid process for exterior advertising for the boardwalk, beaches, and business districts. So this is a continuation of our boardwalk banner and other asset advertising that we do throughout the city. The existing contract is up soon, but extended through the summer season, and it's already sold out on the boardwalk. Some returning advertising to the boardwalk, which I think, for me, I think they do a great job. It brings a nice liveliness to the boardwalk. Always a pleasure to see it.
So is this for the production of the banners?
No, we put it out to RFP. So this is for the re-upping of the contract to put it out to public bid
What are we bidding?
on the authorization for the contract to provide advertising, which includes the banners. So we have a contract with them that includes profit sharing, and we advertise it, and anyone can bid on it.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No, I think it's a great program.
Yeah.
Now that we own the
Now that we own the poles.
we own the poles.
Yeah, thanks. Moving on, we have approval of bills and payroll. Do you have any other?
Could we add resolution
Oh,
114, yeah.
Sorry. Apologize. So we have one other resolution to add, resolution 114. This is that's right. This is adding the hiring of a greeter, Annette Borman, for Wednesdays and Thursdays in City Hall.
Thank you.
Right, 114. Thank you for the note.
And Mayor, we do have one other one from the bench, if you don't mind. It
No,
should be number 115. The background, there's been a request to have a donated leave policy enacted within the city. Because we're a civil service municipality, we have to go through civil service to do that. So the resolution would simply be authorizing and directing city administrator to take all steps necessary to enact that policy consistent with civil service regulations.
the policy do not
Donated sick leave.
donated sick leave.
Yeah, so if there's an employee that would need it, his or her fellow
Yep,
employee could,
Right, I remember the conversations. And is that 115?
that would be 115, yes.
Okay,
If you need the formal title, Lisa, for the record, I can read that.
if that's enough.
You did it.
You did it.
I want to back you up for just a moment to add a comment on 114, hiring
Annette Berman. It's likely that she's going to work additional days during the summer with the beach tag program. So right now, she's going to be the 2 days a week at the front desk, filling the vacancy there, but we do expect that she will probably work another 2 days a week, likely on weekends for beach tags at the same hourly rate.
Okay, thank you. So we're adding 114 and 115 in our regular session when we get to that. Can I have a motion to open the workshop meeting to public portion on any items that we have discussed so far?
Make that motion?
I have a second.
Second.
Commissioner,
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes, so we welcome any participants, organizations or individuals to comment on any items that we have discussed so far in the workshop. Recognizing anything we've discussed so far. Nice to see you, former mayor.
Resolution 111 with the ACIA. That was actually the program that I put together.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Plan ahead of what well for the city of Ventnor. Thank you.
Thank you. Jim, any comments on items that we discussed so far in the workshop portion in the Zoom platform?
Anybody on Zoom who wishes to speak or comment on any of the items that have been spoken about so far, please make yourself known with Zoom by raising your hand or in the chat feature and you'll be recognized. No?
Hearing none, can I have a motion to close public portion of the workshop?
So moved.
Second.
The roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. So before we close the workshop portion and open I'd like to offer Maria a opportunity to ask for a moment of silence for a notable passing of
Yes,
a resident.
Dave Venezia, husband of Cheryl. They owned Annette's for many, many, many years. Dave passed this weekend. It was a bit of a surprise.
Hmm.
And as you can imagine, it's very tough and Cheryl's dealing with it. And so if we can just have some prayers, if you pray for them, or in a moment of silence. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks,
Appreciate it.
Maria.
Thanks, Maria.
He was genuinely a nice guy.
Good guy. Yep.
Yep.
I
Just
know.
good people.
I know former Mayor Kreischer probably held court in the Nets for a while he was that was a great establishment, always a welcome face there.
They are missed.
Yeah.
Really missed at Annette's especially.
So I'll make a motion to close the workshop portion of the meeting and call to order the regular portion of our meeting.
I'll make that motion.
Second?
Lisa, roll call, please.
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. We have no approval of minutes, but we do have ordinance introduction. Ordinance number 003. This is the claims for payment ordinance described in the workshop. Ordinance 003. May I have a motion to introduce ordinance, please?
Make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-003.
Second.
Roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. We have a ordinance introduction, ordinance 004. This is portable storage units and dumpsters entitled fees, section 114-19. May I have a motion for ordinance introduction, please?
Make a motion to introduce ordinance 2025-004.
Second.
Roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. We have no public hearings. We have no ordinance adoptions, but we do have a motion to adopt ordinance resolutions. May I have a motion, please, for ordinance resolutions 2025-006 016 through 2025-015.
I'll make a motion to introduce resolutions.
115.
I got it.
Sorry.
Resolutions 2025-106 through 115.
Thank you.
Second.
Roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. Thank you. Amy, can we have bills and payroll, please?
Payables for this period, $773,318.71. Payrolls, $619,805.07.
Thank you. And motion to approve bills and payroll, please.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
Roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. Any announcements or safety reports? We have commissioner reports. Any, Commissioner Mento, do you have any reports to offer today?
Yes. Today we met with a couple residents from Newport Avenue who wanted to discuss some concerns they have regarding the activity that occurs on Newport Avenue, including the farmers market and the concerts and some other events the city might or might not have there this year, and some private events and the impact that it has on them because they live there, and so the traffic impacts them and the noise impacts them, but they were also concerned about the public safety aspect of that area, particularly during the farmers market, when there's a lot of cars looking for parking spaces and idling and waiting, and concerns about, the people trying to cross the street, cross Atlantic Avenue. And basically, the activity, the congestion, and the noise. So it was Nicole Curie, our attorney, myself, and Tom Chiccarone, our administrator, met with two residents. They were three people, or two homeowners that consisted of three people. And we listened to what they had to say. And I expect we'll be discussing particularly the public safety concerns soon. And then, we're going to look at some of the events and see if there's anything we can do to accommodate them. I know these events are very popular with the public. And I remember when we suggested moving them all to Ski Beach, and how we each got many phone calls or texts or emails or comments on Facebook about how dare we, that they love these events. And so there's a lot to consider here, and we're going to do that.
It was an uproar when we thought at the one point we were going to move them to facilitate the stage application. So they're hugely popular. So I appreciate your discussions with them. And it dovetails into one of the things that I was going to say, is that we do have a solid 7 applicants which is up from last year, for Class 1 temporary police officers, and we have 1 returning. So there's a possibility, and we did talk about this after your meeting, that Bella could move into a more leadership role that could help with that. But there is an intersection there that has traffic control. So there is some traffic control there. So we'll put some focus on it, I guess is what I'm saying, in the police department. And hopefully
Some additional temporary signage for people to pay attention to the crossing signs.
Yeah,
It's,
I got a blank stare when I suggested it, but I was thinking that because you have such a convergence for the farmers market, what happens is a lot of times you get people trying to find parking spots and they slow down, and you have one-way traffic, and people that negotiation that happens in the driveway and on Atlantic Avenue. I think if we had more signage,
Yeah.
like our electronic sign that
Mhm.
says event ahead or
Yeah.
something of that nature, just to give people to slow down when they reach that street, because frankly, I'd like it to be more popular. I think the farmers market is one of the best events that we have, managing a popular event is a good problem, in my opinion. It makes the city walkable. It brings people downtown that may shop at other portions, and
brings people to the city.
it brings people to the city.
I know folks that come from mainland and down beach.
Every time you talk to someone there, they say this is the best one.
Yep.
And it's because it's got so many things to offer. It's so easy to get to.
And the parking and
It's
the
the blueberry.
Blueberries.
Blueberry?
It's
The
the
blueberries.
Vento blueberries and the parking and the cars, that's not unique.
No,
It's-
no.
I've been to other farmer markets, not as good as ours, but,
you're parking in
it's
residential
specialized.
streets.
one of the, one of their concerns or issues was the parking on Newport, on that beach block. People wait and they don't move because they're waiting for somebody to move out of the parking spot. So they're idling or they're waiting and they're blocking the roadway in part. So I don't know if there's something we can do about that that says no idling, no waiting.
Maybe
Right.
that's something that the specials or the police officers can work on, just keep people moving. Maybe that's something to
Yeah. And,
to
and
suggest.
it's, it's something you want to try to balance, but we also have to recognize that's a public area. It's been a public area forever. It's required to stay a public area,
Mhm.
and it's for the residents of the city of Ventnor
Yeah.
and otherwise to enjoy. So, and those areas exist all over the city,
Yeah.
whether it's the homes next to the fields or the rowing, house, or if you're near the bay where the boats go by, or ski beach. I mean, we have these all over, and,
It's a rowing club and a boathouse, but that's okay.
yeah, okay.
What
did I call it?
You said a rowing house.
Oh, and, rowing club and a boathouse, okay.
Sorry.
And, yeah, so it's something to think about and try to see what we can do.
Yeah, so we'll put more focus on it in terms of traffic safety. There may be, it's, frankly, I think it's a good problem to have.
What's the phrase? It's a fluid situation there. It's
Yeah.
always changing. So I think our police and specials do a great job managing folks there. And we'll do as best we can. It's an event. People want to be there. What I see is people walking from further distance. I know Ken Calamo walks from Dorset Avenue with a wagon
He has
every
a
Friday
wagon.
morning.
He's got a big wagon. Yeah, I think that's the culture that you want is
Yeah.
is the walkability. And as more residents come to the downtown areas, the more hopefully you'll get that sort of market central that you have in Europe, that's the idea. That's to me what it reminds me of. So that's great.
And just so the record's clear too, the discussion about the concert series was about the 2026 season. This season's already
Already
set.
set, correct.
So Maria indicated we're open to, giving some thought to how it goes, see what happens again this summer, do a little debriefing afterwards and just make decisions about 2026 down the road. The other traffic safety issues are things that we need to look at now.
We do start with commitments or scheduling around June when the concerts start. And
We need to talk about that whole process too, though. Again, but we're right back to the previous discussion about contracts and how they get approved and when they get approved. And, can we in fact commit to something in 2026 when we haven't even had 2025 yet? So we need to figure all that out.
well, it may be an informal commitment. However, there's certain bands I personally am not willing to wait on. If we're going to get them, we
I
have to,
understand
we
that.
have to have a
Yeah.
commitment. That's it.
All right. Great. Commissioner Langgraf, do you have any,
Couple things. First is, did anyone else notice that Margate just went to our format for meetings?
No.
Did not.
Having the workshop before the actual public hearing, public meeting. They just changed that last month, so seems like we're doing something first for once, right? Tongue in cheek. Love Mike and the guys down there, so. Couple things, updates, the basketball court, demolition started this week. Reconstruction should start soon after. They're redoing that whole basketball court at, Suffolk Avenue complex. Soon to follow that is the Seashore Playground. The makeover starts, April 8th. That should take a couple of weeks. It's not a whole makeover there. It's just fixing a lot of the equipment that has aged out of its useful life, and we're replacing all that. And we can't do that work because that was a Leathers is the architectural company that designed it. We can't touch it and keep our insurance on it. So we have to, and the warranty's on it. So we have to have them come in. There were some delays in getting some of the product. If you're near that area, you see those trailers, the shipping trailers sitting there. That's holding the equipment. Now they've rescheduled to be here early next month, so that'll get started. Should be ready for hopefully May without any delays. We had a final meeting on the boardwalk bidding process for the replacement of the boardwalk, the actual construction. We did bid the decking material and the fasteners. And we did get that, all that material has been purchased. That contractor will keep those materials at their yard because we don't have a place to store that much lumber. We bought probably $1.5 $2 million worth of materials. Yeah, almost $2 million worth of.
Right.
So part of that, the $7.5 million of the project that we have scheduled for about $14 million came from a state grant, actually a federal through the state to us. That money has to be spent by December 2026. So we purchased the first amount. We got to spend that 7.5 from the state first. Our money we can spend whenever we want to. I got a little bit of a schedule here, and that's what the meeting was about with our design engineer, Mark de Blasio, and his team, Ed Stinson, and Rick Santoro was in there as well. We're going to start September of 2025. We're deciding which end to start on. It'll either be at the pier and go towards Atlantic City or start at Jackson Avenue and come towards the pier. I think we're leaning towards, and Tom was in the meeting as well, we're leaning towards starting at the Atlantic City end just for facilitating the construction.
Everything after the pier is okay?
No, we don't have enough money for the rest of it. We're going to go as far as we can with as much money as we have. So we did just recently authorize Jim Rotella to apply for another 5 million to move that further down. One of the things we did that extended the project, I don't know how many blocks, but several blocks. And this was a discussion we had to change from the herringbone design to straight planking. Saved a lot of labor, about 20% in labor costs and about 10% in material costs. It's less cutting. The material is very dense, very hard to cut. When you drill a screw through it, you have to pre-drill every hole. It's material that lasts a long time. So that's the plan. We start in September of 25. Whatever is finished by May of 2026, we will stop and then start again the following September. We will certainly spend the state's money before 2026, December of 26. And then beyond that, we'll be using our dollars. So he's preparing those boardwalk bid documents right now. We should have that out to bid sometime May, June, so we anticipate. So for award in the summer and then get started.
So just to clarify on the funds, when we had the discussion, we did make it clear that we're going to spend the grant funds first, the 7.1 million. There was a 10% match on that.
Right.
So of the 7 million of our own commitment, 711,000 of that is matching funds. So we'll spend that simultaneous with the grant, and then we'll go into the rest of it being our money.
Yep. That's all I have. Thank you.
All right, thank you. I just have a couple things, mostly about the beautification of the downtown. I was at the planning board meeting and I gave a brief presentation on the downtowns to the planning board. It was a light week, so we had a chance to have some discussions on what basically centered around two things: blade signage as an option for the downtowns to have a certain size that is perpendicular to the building, so it's more pedestrian friendly, and offer them business guidelines for blade signage, and also increasing the description of what facades are, the improvement of facades, things like clearing things that are already in our code, but I think we can remind businesses there's a sort of a do's and don'ts of what makes an attractive facade, like awnings and how they're prepared. So I'm asking the planning board to codify things that are a little bit more uniform in the awnings, removing LED from around windows, things of that sort that separate us from Atlantic City in some ways. When you get into Ventnor to have a little bit more of a different aesthetic. And some other things that are kind of would dovetail with some of the code, and then also with our next master plan. That would help, I think, in general to increase so the VBA was there. VBA gave some comments about the facades and how to communicate, and they were very receptive to bringing some of these displayed signage to their membership and any code. We're gonna bring out the codes that apply to business owners and have them reinforce them with their membership. And then Lance and I today walked the street looking at locations from 2 business districts in an effort to replace somewhere in the neighborhood of 20 to 30 trees that are either dead or dying or missing. So we're adding some symmetry to the streets. And then the trees that are healthy within those areas. So from Nashville Avenue to right about up to the theater, and then picking up again from I would say Newport Avenue towards the opposite end, right around New Haven. That's right. So not just replacing these with a variety of species that I've worked with the green team to identify what's available, things like lilac, junipers, black gum. These are small trees that won't affect signage or parking. We've located them in places that won't affect parking. And then the trees that are in good shape, they are going to remove the hodgepodge of plantings that are around them, and sometimes they're not plantings, they're just rocks, and replace them with native grasses. So we're going to have beach grasses, purple love grass, it's called, broom's hedge, and a few perennials as well.
Do we get the Latin names of them too?
Yeah, sure. Amophilia, Bregenvilia.
Kidding.
Sorry. So it's been a bit of a journey with the green team, because it's funny, they were throwing Latin words at each other across,
It's nuts.
the landscaper and the green team, but we landed on those.
You can get your daughter to
Get my
translate.
daughter to translate for them. Yeah, that's right.
Just a comment on the blade signs, and Roger actually drafted, and Leo drafted a resolution or a ordinance for it. We can certainly, and I think we put it in there, that allows them to project into our right of way on the North Beach section certainly on Atlantic Avenue, but on Ventnor Avenue. Down here, we're going to have to lobby the county to allow that to occur.
Yeah.
Because that's their right of way, and most of those buildings are at 0 setback. So we'll have to talk to their planners and see if they're okay with that. It shouldn't be that heavy of a lift.
Maybe once we have some examples up in that area,
Right.
we'll be able to show that
Yep.
this is something that's
Yep.
positive.
It definitely, if you walk Haddonfield, they have it, and it works well there, and that's a state highway, so
Yeah.
they've allowed it. So there's other examples of it.
Yep. Collingswood, Rhinebeck, New York, a lot of these companies, because they're pedestrian friendly, and they also offer a little bit of an image recognition to when you're walking down the street, you can see what the next, and it has a bit of a throwback. So everybody was very receptive to the idea of kind of making our facades a little more similar. And I think we're at that point now where Ventnor has got such traction that if we start to enforce those things, like when you're on the planning board as well, and you always think of Lorraine Salata when you think about hedges, like she's the person that's going to make landscaping. She's the person. So I think we need, another champion, and I'll be it, to say that when we see something that comes up as a facade, what are we doing to improve the image and the overall image of Ventnor as a destination? Because I think we're at that point where we could have our own little shop, because these are turn of the century kind of downtowns, and we have all that, and we have a lot of that. We have some barrel tile roofs, but over the years, things like those commercial looking barrel style awnings, I think they don't really fit the aesthetic. They're those big round 90s kind of architecture.
I agree.
So I think there's a do's and don'ts. And then some of these windows haven't changed in decades. So just having people pay attention to this with examples of why you shouldn't have if you plaster all those advertising on your windows, you create a wall. It doesn't offer you the space, the
Not
welcoming.
inviting, not inviting.
Yeah, so those kinds of things we're gonna bring up and have like a cheat sheet for.
So
Certain
there's a form, and I can't believe I'm going to say this. There's a form of land use ordinances called form-based code, and I'm cursing myself for using that word because it is the worst way to write an ordinance, except for signs. Town up north, and I'm going to have to pull it. Hamilton has form-based code for their entire downtown. It's awful. It bases the use of a building on what type of building it is. It's ridiculous. But signs, it's the perfect way to do it. Here's a monument sign. There's a picture of it. You actually put a picture of it in your ordinance. It works very well for signage. I was at a seminar a couple of years ago up in New Brunswick, and a planner for one of the towns did it in their town. And I almost tried to do it in CRDA, but it was with casinos, you throw everything out the window. So didn't work for them, but it might get us to what you're looking for.
So you mean like a bike for the bike shop or?
Not even that.
Not even
It's just
that literal?
a format of the sign, not what's on it,
I see.
but the style of the sign.
So the,
Awnings, here's what an awning has to look like.
right.
You know, here's what
So
a,
a set of design criteria.
here's what a facade sign should look like.
Yeah.
And that, exactly. Not quite like a historical commission would require it this way.
Right.
These are suggestions on this is what style you could choose from and go from there. So let me, like I said, I do not like form-based code because of what I had to do in Hamilton to fight through it, but it might work very well for signage.
Well, what I'm saying is like, if I don't want to create something complicated that's not doable. I want to set an attainable goal. So it's not.
And I think this could put it that way.
This could be put that way.
This-
Like,
You and I could say an
Just-
awning,
yeah,
and there's 3 different images of an awning.
exactly.
Here's an awning. This is what we want.
Exactly.
And there's a picture of it.
Yeah. And so a fabric awning with the logo and signage on the drop edge.
Yep.
Those
Yep.
kinds of things are what people recognize as like 7311. There's some really good examples, but there's also some examples of people that just inertia has kind of created what their facades look like. So what I'm trying to say is that we bring that to their attention, make sure that new businesses that are opening have a sensitivity to it. Over time, we can have a bit more of an identity when you hit those downtowns. It doesn't have all the flashing lights. It doesn't have, like, my grandparents were guilty of it. They had a pizza shop for 30 years, and if there was a sale on slices, they would take a paper plate and they put $1 a slice and they put it in the window, and that's just, we can do better, So anyway, so blade signage, facades, and trees, and hopefully some trash cans. And we talked
They're on
about
order, yeah.
They're on order, and getting rid of the old stumps from the old meters, those kinds of things. All that happening they're already starting to cut. So that by springtime, we should have a bit, some steps forward. That'd be exciting.
Good stuff.
Can I have a motion to open up the meeting for public comment for any topic whatsoever?
So moved?
Second?
Roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes.
We better hurry up. Our clerk's voice is fading fast.
Yeah.
down
Faded.
the end.
Fading, sorry. Seeing none in the chambers, any in the Zoom platform, comments about anything? Oh,
There
we have
is one comment. Phil Neary, a resident of Longport, is having
Good night.
audio issues. So you just wanted to ask a question on will any of the free parking be extended, or when it is due to expire this month, will the parking be turned back on?
Our dates for parking that are by ordinance are, I think, April 1st,
April 1st, end of March, end of this month.
end of this month.
Okay.
Yeah, end of this month.
It will not be extended.
And we're not planning on extending.
Great, thank you.
Yep.
Anybody else in Zoom? I would think you have one in the chambers,
We have
right?
one- Yeah, we have one in the chamber now, so to speak.
Good evening, again, Tim Kreischer. I just want to take few minutes of your time to go over these plans. No, I'm only kidding. Well, they are actually, I got a call from Jim Rotella last month to see if we had any plans or information on when the city did the historical renovation of City Hall, and I couldn't find anything. But I did come across these plans that were for high vac and window replacement.
Oh,
So
excellent.
we really don't need them in the historical. I'm sure you have them here in City Hall, but now you got an extra copy, so.
I
Thank
didn't know Jim was looking for, I have plans for I have the original plans for City Hall.
Oh, you do?
They're in my office. So I didn't know Jim was looking. I'll talk,
Yeah.
I'll call him.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
So the other thing, you dealing with Commissioner Mento's meeting, Mayor, you mentioned the digital signs. Just may remind you that we're in the process of doing a shared service program. Hopefully we get the LEAP grant where the county will purchase 3 of those digital signs and make them available to the municipalities that signed on at no cost. So hopefully we get that and that will give you another. I know you have some signs now, but this will give you an option for additional one. So what I really came tonight is I want to thank Commissioner Mendo for calling me back, even though she was out of town. I really appreciate it. Regarding the ambulance billing process for the city.
Yeah.
If I understood your message correctly, Commissioner, that if the person doesn't have insurance or insurance doesn't pay all of it, you'll send that person 2 bills for the balance, and after 2 bills, if they don't pay it, you just write it off. Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah.
I think this policy has changed over the years. My memory is being tested, but when we first set this up, that I was concerned about residents getting a bill for ambulance service that they already paid for in their taxes or never received a bill before. So I was very concerned about starting this process, but the late, great Chief Dan Cahill convinced me that we're leaving money on the table by not billing the insurance companies, and that residents would not get a bill. So I don't know if that changed somewhere along the line, but I think that process brings up 2 scenarios that I'd like to talk to you about. One is an issue of fairness. You have maybe a senior citizen, since they're more prone to use the ambulance, that their insurance doesn't cover it all, and they get a bill in the mail. And they're from the old school, they get a bill, you pay it. You know, and where you have another person that's always looking to scam the system and not pay it, they get the bill and they throw it in the trash. They get the second bill and throw it in the trash, and they don't pay. So the conscientious resident pays the balance and the scammer doesn't. To me, it sets up a situation of unfairness. I don't know how you feel about it, but where the conscientious person pays, the scammer doesn't pay. And then another situation or another scenario could be catastrophic. You have that senior citizen who on a fixed income may not be able to afford to pay it. They use the ambulance, they get a bill. 6 months later, I don't feel too good. I got some chest pains. But I got a bill the last time for a couple $100. I really can't pay that right now. I'll just sit here and, hopefully it will pass. I'll be okay. And bang, they have a heart attack because they waited because they didn't want to pay a bill that they didn't have to pay anyway. Or you have that person that pauses, doesn't call the ambulance. They have a stroke. Now they have a life-altering situation where they're crippled. They're suffering some impact of that stroke. Or worse yet, you have the person that says, you know what, I don't want to pay the ambulance. I can drive myself. Boom, they get in an accident, kill somebody else in a car, run up on the sidewalk and kill some pedestrians. I know it brings in revenue. I think you have $376,000 in ambulance fees. I don't know how much of that was collected from the insurance companies and collected from the residents. I don't know if you know, but that might be a good figure to have. But I think the city should really look into not sending bills for that and avoiding these possible scenarios. I believe in user fees, but not when it comes to life-threatening situations. So I really would like the commission to think about doing away with sending those bills to the residents and only sending the bills to the insurance company and accepting whatever they pay. Your thoughts?
I think
I would,
it's,
yeah, there's a lot of hypotheticals there. I don't know if I followed all of them, but I'll pass it to, because we do have a policy, Tom, we've talked about this over the years. And one thing I will say is that we hire a company that does, every ambulance call gets entered, for everything from oxygen bottles to, Narcan, everything that gets used on that call is, is coded and entered by the attending EMT. And a lot of that is covered by insurance, by residents and non-residents, mostly because of the flow of our traffic. But Tom, I think.
Yeah, things may have changed since I last looked at this, but typically, when you bill for ambulance services, I think there's an obligation. If you're sending a bill to one person, you have to send one to everybody. But most people these days do in fact have insurance that covers ambulance transportation. How aggressively we try to collect unpaid bills is a different issue that I'll take a look at, and maybe get back to you on. But I don't think that we can single people out and say, you don't get a bill, but you do. I think if you're billing, you have to bill everybody. But typically, Medicare is the rule of thumb. Usually that's what it sets the fee for the service. It's whatever Medicare pays. That's what we bill. That's what we would accept as payment. If somebody has insurance, and again, if everybody's following the law, you were supposed to have insurance. So there shouldn't be too many that don't. And again, if somebody doesn't have insurance and doesn't have Medicare, I don't think that we're going to be too aggressive in trying to collect that.
No, and before you rebuttal, I just would say that we're open to the discussion, and I think there is an argument somewhere in there that taxpayers are already paying for that service. So there is some dispensation that could be given, but and our percentages are also that our payment percentages are way up because we've gotten more efficient at the recording of them. We've had different services over the years and vetted them, and now we have a service that is made up of primarily former police and fire chiefs that have very highly sophisticated software. I've seen it. I've gone through the drills with them and sat in on the meetings where they present it, and it's more comprehensive. I think that, we do have costs associated to users, and that's what we're. But as I said, I think there is an argument to be made for taxpayers already paying for the service. How would you give them that dispensation? So,
but I understand what you're saying. I might get a bill. I pay my bills. So I'm getting a bill for the balance of the ambulance service and I'm going to pay it. My neighbor's not going to pay it. So you're saying it's an issue of some people are paying and some aren't. It's an issue of fairness. And then you also, if I heard you correctly, you got the people who will get the bill and be afraid to call the ambulance next time because they don't want to get a bill again because they can't afford it. So it's probably worth a discussion.
Mhm.
And even maybe Amy, maybe you and Michael Cahill, maybe the service can't differentiate like that and can't not send a bill out. I think the question will be, do we send bills out or don't send bills out?
right.
If we don't send bills out, we know we're going to lose some income from the people that are paying. But
I think
I understand what you're saying.
and I think in
Say
general,
that.
we don't pursue residents vigorously.
We don't at all.
No,
pursue-
no, I understand. You send the two bills out. If they don't pay, you write it off.
Yeah.
So Mayor, while I acknowledge there's some hypotheticals in my.
Yeah.
But I think they're realistic
Okay.
and potentially real life situations. And Tom, if I can ask you to look into if you send the bills to the insurance, if you have to, because if you have to send it to them, then that takes care of the
Yeah.
issue. But can you look into that and find out and let me know? Good. All right.
Thank you.
So thank you.
Thanks.
Thanks, Tim.
Thanks.
I have I guess a comment on procedures. I don't, and Jim, this is not Jim Pakinowski I'm talking to, not any criticism to you, but I don't think that he should be taking the questions from the Zoom and interpreting them to us. If a person has a question, I think they need to come on and ask the question. I don't think it's. I didn't hear that. So,
Okay.
the person Phil's been on here the entire time. So
I don't know. I haven't heard people ask us a question in a while.
I have, we've
Yeah.
had people
No,
come
I
on, yeah.
mean,
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't think it's appropriate for Jim to be interpreting
I
that
understand.
and asking the question. So I think we should, unless they tell us definitely that there's an issue there, then we'll make an exception. But I think those folks should be asking the question.
Similar to the planning board, it should come directly from that.
I think it has to. So,
Yeah.
well, they're listening to our meeting, so they just should identify themselves and ask the question. So
Good point.
that's all.
All right.
Thank you.
You, hearing seeing no other public comment requests, I have a motion to close the public comment
So
portion.
moved?
Second.
Roll call, Lisa?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. Seeing no executive session, prior to asking, I will just thank Clerk Lisa Hand for
Toughing it out.
toughing it out with feeling under the weather. Thank you very much. My motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call?
Commissioner Langgraf?
Yes.
Commissioner Mento?
Yes.
Mayor Kribel?
Yes. Meeting adjourned.